now tuned in to the NX Beyond podcast. Today, I'm not going to start with headlines. I'm going to kick this off with main topics. And the main topic I want to talk about is the successor to the Nintendo Switch, the Super Nintendo Switch. The next thing, man, the next generation of Nintendo. The thing that we know is confirmed to be revealed between today and March 31st, 2025. So we don't even got to wait till that summer season of games in order to see this thing. Hell, it could be dropping around that time. We got a fresh rumor right now that it's not going to be coming out till after April 2025. And I'm like, well, it might be revealed literally a day before that. Because, I mean, that's the time frame that they gave us. You know what I'm saying? So it was never going to launch immediately unless it's revealed this year. Then they can follow the Switch rollout and then go, oh yeah, the system's coming out in March. But now they're saying, oh, it's not going to be, released till after April. So I'm assuming then it'll probably be revealed closer to March. And going by the history of Nintendo dropping consoles in November, it'll probably drop around November. See, I talked about this on the last episode, and I said, you drop around November, you're likely going to be dropping around a brand new Xbox handheld. There'll be brand new Steam Decks and ROG Allies, and it's going to be a far more competitive landscape. A lot of people who already own Switches have bought one of these other devices that currently exist, and they ain't coming back, and that's okay. It happens all the time. Because the ones you lose, there's a new generation of young kids who are going to fall in love with Nintendo all over again, so it's not like you're not going to make up those sales. I'm just saying that's the reality. Other devices take people's attention span away from Nintendo. It's just the way it is. And that's fine. Because like I said, there's always new babies being made. But I don't even really want to talk about the release and how successful it could be. It's just the fact that it will be launching around other hardware. I still think it'll be more successful than everything I just named. But I also understand that we got to understand that Nintendo has had success and then missed right after that. And they didn't completely miss because they always had handhelds that were successful. So every time people say, oh, Nintendo lost a generation, I'm like, if you look at it in the bubble. But I've realized gamers like to look at everything in the bubble. They, look at things like console sales. And then it's like, yeah, but Xbox got 500 million active users. That's more than twice as many as Nintendo and PlayStation combined. Console sales. I'm like, okay, metrics, man, old versus new. They don't care because console sales. But look, console sales do play a big role, obviously. And like I said, I think they'll be successful. And that's fine. But I truly believe there has to be more. Like, when you hear people talk about how, oh yeah, this generation is boring to me, man, games feel stagnant. I disagree completely. I think this generation has been mad fun, incredible. I think Nintendo's been on fire this whole generation. I think everybody's been doing a lot of their best work this generation. You know what I'm saying? At least where I play. You know what I'm saying? I love everything I get from Game Pass. I love a bunch of Xbox first party games. Nintendo is just consistently dropping hit after hit after hit, year after year after year. Games that I enjoy all the time. I mean, from Pikmin 4 recently, Dread, to Tears of the Kingdom, to Echoes of Wisdom about to drop, to, great remakes of a bunch of games. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've just been delivering a lot, right? But when I think of Nintendo, I don't just think of the IP. And when I think of innovation, I do not think of even Wii Fit, you know what I'm saying, which is an innovative thing. And I played games outside of Wii Fit with the balance board, like Shaun White snowboarding and stuff like that. The point is, I don't think of Labo. I think of true game-changing innovation that becomes standardized because gamers are not going to go back. You see what I'm saying? So I want that. I need that. This industry is missing that. For far too long, 2 analog sticks, 4 shoulder buttons, Super Nintendo Diamond. That's your controller with a D-pad from the NES era. You get what I'm saying? Nintendo made folks comfortable with motion controls. But they didn't stick with the wand and the nunchuck. No, instead, they went with, let's bring motion controls to the old controller. And that's awesome because it made the old controller feel newer, which is what you want. And that's just what I want. I want them to have something on the controller. Yes, whether it's Joy-Cons, your Pro controller, there's something on that controller. And I'm not talking back paddles. Something that is a revolution for gameplay and game design, like the D-pad was, like the analog stick was, like shoulder buttons were, rumble, motion controls. I want that in the next controller. I want something that when people look at the Nintendo console, they go, "Oh, they doing that? That's weird." You know, I want the people who want Nintendo to just do the same old, same old. You know, there's people like, "Oh, you got to name it Nintendo Switch 2, the most boring name ever, because you don't want to have another Wii U situation." And it's like, God forbid they try something different. Oh no, look, it works for PlayStation, so you should do the same. And it's like, nah, I don't think that they should do the same. I think that they should do what they've always done, which is innovate, which is rattle the gaming industry cage and shake it up a bit. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. And they're the ones outside of the cage, rattling it while everybody wants to stay in the cage safe. And I know that there's a lot of fans right now, you know, especially many who became fans of Nintendo right now, you know, and maybe watched the history, didn't live through it. And so for them, they probably have a lot of fear for, oh yeah, they might try something crazy. Then I think there's the ones like me who lived through all of it and gonna be like, nah, man, we winning right now. Chill, don't do nothing. It's just a stronger console, you know, a nicer screen, and updated, more comfortable Joy-Cons with no drift. That's the winning formula. And it's like, yo, they're gonna be competing with an official Xbox device that's a handheld. And you know, Xbox, when it comes to controls and shit, they do comfort. I ain't gonna pretend though that they don't got drift issues, because this generation, analog sticks, we definitely got to move to what the third party ones be using nowadays, where they're like, we got no drift because we use this, while your console uses the old way. I forget the name of it, but it's like the magnets or whatever. And I think that they should definitely do that. All of them across the board. Because I ain't never have to have 5 Xbox controllers. But here I am on my beautiful red one, my 5th one. That ain't what I want in the generation. You know, I'm cool though with my Pro controller. It's been great, my Switch one. You know, it has a little bit of drift, but I usually just dust it off and it'd be fine. You know what I'm saying? But Joy-Cons, oh no, those I done replaced like 3 times. I just stopped. I don't even use them. So I was like, I don't even use my Switch in handheld mode. But that's the thing. There's going to be other handhelds out there, right? And they're going to be stronger, more than likely. They're going to have access to not only Xbox, but Steam, Riot Games, you know, all of them, like Epic Game Store, EA Play, Ubisoft Connect, all of those things are going to be there. Battle.net. And you're going to be able to jump from game to game to game, device to, and I'm talking going from on your Xbox official released by Microsoft device, the Microsoft Xbox, whatever they're going to have to do to bypass the fact that it's not a Series X and it's not a Series S, it's a handheld that is a Windows device. Branded Xbox because, well, Xbox is the main OS thing on there. You saw the compact mode they just revealed this past week, right? And this works on everything, you know, Steam Decks, ROG Allies, and it's going to work for their thing. And then you could go from playing, you know, Gears of War E-Day, or you know, but that's too far away. I'm gonna go South of Midnight, Indiana Jones, you know, like Fable, Avowed. You're gonna be able to play those games, right? Alongside your Forza Horizons and all that, and all your Halo, all that fun stuff. Look, you're gonna be able to play those games and then jump right into Steam and be like, yeah, I'm gonna now continue my story mode and God of War Ragnarok, and like, yeah, and Spider-Man, and that's gonna be game changing when it's one of the main players who does it. Like, yeah, you could do that right now with a Steam Deck. I understand that. But when it's one of the main players, it shifts things. It makes every Xbox customer go, okay, you know what? I'm going to need me one of those. And I could dock that. I ain't even going to get the next Xbox console unless it's doing this, where it's like an open platform. You know what I mean? And if they do that with the next box, you know, and it's super powerful, way more than the handheld. And the handheld basically replaces the Series S. So it's like you got that, you could dock that. If you got that, you got an Xbox. Same way if you got a Fire Stick right about now, you got an Xbox. But yeah, they'll probably have a box that's way more powerful. But if they do that too, and it's like, yeah, you could, because it's what it is, and because Sony puts their game on PC, it's like at this point, Sony might as well just put their games on Xbox, because people are going to have an Xbox and still have access to their games, even if it's later. At that point, you're just cheating yourself out of money. That's why when I look at Xbox doing what they do, I'm like, do what you do. But I'm saying all this to say this is the market that they're going to be in. I know you might be wondering, like, ain't you talking about Switch 2? Yeah. But this is the market that they're going to be in. That's the reality. You know, so it's going to be competition there. And this is a Nintendo who is going into a new generation, and it's not one where they're going in with two pillars. It's not like they're going handheld, home console. Or if the home console fails, the handheld saves it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have that no more. It's a unified thing. It's going to be one device. So they got to get it right. And that's why I want the delay. And I use giant air quotes when I say delay, because I don't think it's a delay. We don't got a release date. We don't got a thing that exists. It's just coming when it's coming. You know what I'm saying? So I say, take your time in order to have the body of work right. You know what I'm saying? And when I say the body of work, I mean the damn games, the third party games, all the deals, I know every week for the next 12 months what's dropping from us and from my partner, so we can make a beautiful schedule. Because I feel like that's what they did with the Switch. And it was perfect. It was like it dropped with Zelda, then Mario Kart and ARMS, and it was just a perfect, just go Splatoon, then Mario Odyssey, then Xenoblade. It was wild. Like they ain't never do nothing like that. It was all close together. Like the Wii, it was still separate too, because it was like get the Wii with Zelda and Wii Sports, then wait all the way to like August to get Metroid Prime 3, and then November was Mario Galaxy, and that was fire. It was amazing, but it wasn't what the Switch did. The Switch was everything just jammed together right there. Like it was just a wild time, and I want them to do the same exact thing when it comes to having that body of work ready. And that body of work would be so much more interesting, and it would be far more successful, I believe, if you do something that rattles the gaming industry, right? But that thing is being featured heavily in making the next 3D Mario a better game. That thing is making Metroid Prime, the Switch version, more comfortable to play somehow, some way. You know what I'm saying? For Prime 4 Beyond. It's making the next everything, the next 2D Mario, the next 2D Metroid, the next Mario Kart, the next Smash Brothers, the next everything, Xenoblade, all of that. Like, it just makes the experience better because of this feature. And I know people be like, yo, it's hard to do that. Technically, they've done it multiple times. So I don't like to say it's hard, you know what I'm saying, to do that. Like, they always spend so much money on research and development to make things that are going to produce, different video game experiences. And for us as Nintendo fans, I feel to like, and I'm gonna use the word coward in a way, because I think it is cowardice to say, yeah, the innovate, the mover and shaker of the industry when it comes to actual controls and shit like that. Like, oh yeah, they should fall back, and we should just be on this path. And then like, y'all be the same ones talking about, oh, gaming don't feel fresh. This ain't different. This ain't that. Why do you think that is? Because you've been using the same controller, the same DualShock forever, and that's the only thing you want to play with. You know what I'm saying? And ain't no touchpad, and that ain't what I'm talking. I'm talking about something that's really, truly gonna. I'm talking about the A button. Like, this shit is as important as that. Like, yo, remember when controllers didn't have this? It's almost like a capture button on the controller, right? Imagine if your controller didn't have a capture button nowadays. You'd be like, that's weird. Because since the Wii U, we've been capturing. You know what I mean? Since PS4. Like, it's crazy. Like, it goes further back. We've been capturing since 360 days and Xbox, the original. Like, but I'm saying, like, it became way more standardized when you just had the button on the controller. You ain't got to go into menus, nothing. You know what I mean? And a controller now, you wouldn't even consider it not coming with a home button or a picture button. You know what I'm saying? Video button. Like, that's nice. And that 100% supplemented gaming, changed gaming in a different way, especially in this era of streaming and stuff like that. But let's be clear, like, it needs to be more. You know what I'm saying? Like, it needs to be more involved with the actual software. Where you're playing a first-person shooter and be like, yeah, this thing actually just made it cool. And it's like, yo, again, you saying that, but what is that? That's not for me to know. Because I didn't know that I was going to be playing Mario with an analog stick and think it was the greatest thing ever. And then be like, yo, I can't wait for Metroid and Zelda with an analog stick. Yo, what Street Fighter gonna play? Is it gonna be like arcade stick? And then you realize, I'd still rather use the D-pad for fighting games when they 2D and shit. But anyway, like, it really changed things. And show the buttons, that's another thing. Like, even having a console that was strong enough to get, arcade experiences at home. So when Mortal Kombat came and Street Fighter came, all the different ones, right? Like, we had the Diamond on Super Nintendo. And then Sega was like, oh yeah, here's the 6 the six, button ones because they had it the worst. They had three buttons at the time, and then you had to press select to go to kick, select to go back to punches. It was the worst, But people was nice with it too. Don't get it twisted. I had friends who was serious, who was mainly Sega guys. You know what I'm saying? So when I would play on Sega, it'd be harder for me, the Super Nintendo player, because I'm used to having all these buttons. But then they came out with the six face button ones, right? And that was a game changer because now it made it more comfortable to play than the Super Nintendo. And then you had Mortal Kombat with the blood and everything there, so it was just, oh yeah, I'm gonna get the fighting games now on Sega, and yeah, you had to be there, man. It was a wonderful time, but the truth is, when everybody was pushing innovation, oh, all right, y'all got that many buttons, we gonna get this many buttons, they basically brought the arcade to the actual controller Sega. That was fire, you know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, like changing things. Like, I thought stuff like the touchpad on PlayStation, to not only just shit on it, because it is something that's been standard for 2 generations now. I thought that would have led to far more comfortable, oh yeah, that game is not going to skip consoles now and only go to PC because you need a mouse and keyboard. It's like, now the PlayStation touchpad made it so, yeah, these games are being designed for it comfortably. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that would have happened more consistently. And it is happening more. And you see Xbox and PlayStation now, they're like, yeah, that's cool, but you can just plug in a mouse and a keyboard and play. And you could do that with Call of Duty now on console and everything. Like, that's fire. Because that's no different from plugging in your console and, then plugging in, instead of the controller, I'm playing Street Fighter, I'm plugging in the goddamn fight stick and I'm playing. And I'm having that arcade experience. So it's like, yeah, I'm having that PC experience on console. Like, that's wonderful, And while that's an easy way to say, oh yeah, see, you got that. Like, you could design games for that. If you want, like, they're not gonna design full games on console for mouse and keyboard. But when a controller does something that becomes standardized, it changes gaming everywhere, even on PC. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I want that, man. And I know it's like, yo, you putting that big pressure on Nintendo. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Don't get it twisted. I'm a Nintendo fan, so I understand that they do that for themselves. And I'm just saying, I hope they achieve that thing. And I hope that when we see the Switch, that there's going to be one side like, hell yeah, new Nintendo console. Yeah, look at that Mario game. Oh shit, the Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is playable on it. And then I want the other side, the same people who still going to buy it, but I want them to be shook. Like, what the hell is that? What the man? That's weird. That's ugly. They should have just called this Switch 2. I want that side because that means that they innovated, and and it's Nintendo, and it's that we gonna do some shit that you don't even know you want. We gonna have our hardcore fans who just gonna meet us, and then the other ones who gonna try. And it's like a middle ground. And once they get to that middle ground, it's like, oh nah, they want to stick around because they see the vision now. They playing it, they experience it, they know what it is. And they keep going. And listen, sometimes it might not work. Like, I love the Wii, right? But mad people was like, nah, I ain't gonna do this. And they just jumped on the 360 and the PS3. And I understand that. But I've always had two consoles. I never only had one. I've always been Nintendo, Sega, Nintendo, Xbox. That's always been the thing. That's always what it's gonna be. Well, now I technically got three because I do, dabble in PC and stuff like that, which is where I can access PlayStation stuff and get complete editions of the game and, even better featured version of the game, which is a nice thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm never in no rush for any first party PlayStation games, and they don't have many anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's not something where I feel like, oh, I need to have a PlayStation. And I know that's blasphemy for some people. Like, what? What he just said? And I'm like, I said things that are factual. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you could play first party Xbox games on PlayStation. I get that, like Doom, the Dark Ages, but you could play them for $80. I could play them for nothing. I'm good till 2027. Like, yeah, with Game Pass. But anyway, that's here nor there. My whole thing is, I want the next console to have a cool name. Like, yeah, do I want it to be Super Nintendo Switch? I'm like, yeah, because that's cooler than going Switch 2. If you're going to go Switch 2, just do Super Nintendo Switch. That's your thing. And then you can go from Super Nintendo Switch to Ultra Nintendo Switch. I don't care. People are like, no use. I'm like, nah, F you. Like, they could do the use if they want to do the use, and they could still win. Believe, man, believe. They're like, nah, you bugging. I'm like, I'm just saying, listen, if it was Ultra, it would have been more understood. People are like, yo, I didn't know if it was a add-on to the console, because what the hell is a U? I'm like, see, if it was called Wii Ultra, they would have known, oh, this is the next thing. This is bigger. This is Ultra. Like, yeah. Names actually matter. And Super Nintendo Switch is a simple name to explain, hey, this is what it is. And it's like, oh, all right, cool. That's what we're doing? That's what we're doing. Damn, that's awesome. And sometimes that thing that I want added to the controller can lead to a name. And so now it's called Nintendo, Switch, blah 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 maybe, and that blah 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 will be the thing, and people will like instantly understand. They'll see the games play. They see people like, oh, you doing that in the game, and like I said, if this is actually having an effect on gameplay, it'll be easy to explain, easy to translate. Like people instantly understood. Like when the pitches were shown, I still remember when those pitches hit the net of the Wii remote from when Iwata was at the Tokyo Game Show and he pulled it up, and people was like, "What the hell is that? Like, how you playing Nintendo games with that? How I'm playing Zelda with that?" You know what I'm saying? And people was like, "Oh, you could use it as a sword," but then people like, "How you gonna move around with the D-pad?" And then it was like, "That's gonna be uncomfortable." And then the nunchuck was shown, and then the report came out because this was happening in real time. Then the report came out like, "Oh yeah, we played Metroid Prime 2 behind closed doors with the Wii remote and nunchuck," and it was like playing mouse and keyboard and da da da, and you can aim wherever you want all over the screen. And I remember them like those Matt Casamassina, Mark Bozon reports. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, and I was reading that like, damn, that sounds crazy cool. That there's an analog stick with buttons, in your other hand, like that's sick. And then they made like a mock-up Pro controller where like the Wii remote went in. It was like, yeah, so you can have standard controls and everything. I'm like, yo, this is mad crazy. Like this is weird. This is some real Nintendo shit right here. And once people saw footage, hilarious footage. You had a dude rolling around in his living room like a mothball during Metroid Prime 3 gameplay. But the point is, you had bowling in there, tennis in there, and people instantly understood it because Nintendo did it brilliantly. Like they used sound and just showed a person just, like just playing tennis, and then bowling, and you hearing and then showing the footage, and people like, yo, they're literally bowling, playing tennis, baseball, boxing in their house. Like that's wild. You know what I'm saying? And you had people who were excited and people were on the other side of the fence, right? And at the end of the day, the people on the other side of the fence, they was trying to get the console a whole year later, waiting on lines 24 hours and all that because the thing sold out and it was a phenomenon. Now, whether you got it and sat there and actually had a body of work on it, like you went and bought Red Steel 2, you played Conduit and Medal of Honor Heroes 2, 32 players, like early in the early years, then the Call of Duty, Reflexes and all the other releases of Black Ops, World at War, on top of playing stuff like Tatsunoko versus Capcom, and they just had and then all the Nintendo first party stuff, the WarioWare, Shake It's, and the list goes on and on when it comes to Nintendo stuff. Like it was just a wild time, Galaxy 1, Galaxy 2, New Super Mario Brothers, Wii, like Metroid Prime, you got other M, like there was a lot of games, you know what I'm saying? So if you played and you had a bunch of games on the thing and you was there, you was playing Mad World, you was playing all the crazy stuff that they was coming out with on the damn thing. Yeah, you felt a lot of the innovation, you know what I'm saying? And all the crazy games trying different things like Elebits, at launch and stuff like that. That was like just something that was not gonna exist outside of the Wii, and it doesn't, So I look at that time and I go, yeah, some people bought the thing. It was like, nah, I'm gonna play on PlayStation and Xbox because it's more, the next step, right? The obvious next step. It wasn't really like, oh, they trying to do all this weird stuff. It wasn't 480p. Everybody had, started upgrading to the HD TV. So it was like, yo, I want something that's going to be pretty. And then these things play movies. You had your Ultra HD DVD player in your Xbox, your 4K, Blu-rays in your PlayStation. And that was, for a lot of people, it was like, yeah, we going to move with we want the technology and all that. And I understood that. I was there too. I wasn't trying to miss shit. But I was enjoying both. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole library of games I just named, that's literally a ton of the games that I still own to this day that I enjoyed playing on from the Wii. And I got a ton on 360 and all that. Like, and I had a PS3 at the time for a little while. You know what I'm saying? So I played a lot of the Uncharted and God of Wars at the time. And Killzone, 2. I was in PlayStation Home, whooping people in pool. Like, I remember that generation. And Nintendo won that generation. For a lot of people, it's like, they didn't win in my eyes because I didn't have it. And that's all well and good. And I'm fine being in that space. See, because I own both. So I'm cool with Nintendo doing something super innovative, super wild, that it's like, Oh yeah, but it's alienating some gamers about it. I'm like, if they moving still 140 million units, and the Mario Kart game is fire, and the 3D Mario is fire, and they're all still selling top tier like the Switch, then this a win. Because what's gonna happen when the next generation comes along for PlayStation and Xbox, they controllers gonna have the thing, and now the whole video game industry move forward a bit. And that's what a lot of y'all been missing, and y'all don't understand when y'all be saying, oh yeah, this video game's not as good, not as fun anymore, not as this, not as that anymore. That's what you missing. That's what you're talking about. You miss the medium moving forward. The worst thing you want is for it to just stop and get stagnant, where it's like, oh yeah, everything now looks the same, plays the same, sound the same. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what ended up happening with movies. It's like, oh, everything just looks like CGI. So then people were a little bit like, you feel like people were a little bit bored when it comes to movies, and you see it in ticket sales for, this year compared to any previous year. You'll see it'll probably be less. You know what I'm saying? And it's been like that, tracking like that for a while now. People say, oh yeah, it's because of the pandemic. It's not only that. It's not only that. It's actually the quality of the art. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people not trying to push the medium forward and greenlight new things. Music, everybody, like, for the most part, started sounding the same. And it's like, if you don't sound like this, if you ain't riding this wave, and whatever genre of music, then you ain't really gonna get played, because this is the sound that they're looking for. This is what it's supposed to look like. And that's what they're gonna play on the radio. I'm just like, who cares about radio? But people do. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's part of it. And gaming never had that. Gaming was always pushing new things. Oh look, resolution, frame rate. Movies just was like 24 frames. We ain't moving no more. People like soap opera effect. I'm like, bruh, if we had 60 frames per second in movies, action sequence would look so much better, because all that blurring, all that bullshit would go away. But whatever, y'all don't want to move the medium forward, so it's gonna stay there. And I've accepted that Hollywood is never gonna evolve, because the audience is never gonna let it evolve. Once that happens to video game, we're done. The shit is gonna be fun still, but it's gonna be this. It's gonna be like, yeah, nobody really doing new controls. Nobody's really making games where it's like, oh yeah, that's gonna, cause a bunch of copycats of that game. In gameplay, I mean. I'm not talking like, oh yeah, we made a Battle Royale, so here come 50 different Battle Royale games trying to compete with Fortnite and Warzone and PUBG and Apex Legends and shit. Like, nah, I'm talking literal like genre defining gameplay, where it's, oh, now we need that now in our controllers in order to make games in that genre. Because now if we don't have that, they're gonna be like, this shit feel old. This should feel uncomfortable to play. Why I gotta? It's that thing where Sega was like, no, we gotta add more buttons than them, because this is uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. Nintendo gotta make something in their controllers that make other controllers basically uncomfortable. And by doing that, you have to actually, design games around it. And the only ones who's ever had the balls to actually make a brand new, call it whatever you want, a gimmick, whatever, and then design their whole library around it, it's only ever been Nintendo. To really do that, to be like, yeah, the next Mario game, it's gonna use the Wii remote. Metroid, Zelda, right? Even in Zelda, when it was Waggle, before Skyward Sword really truly used it with an upgraded, Wii Motion Plus controller. Like, before that, it was like, yeah, they still put Waggle. The pointing was still cool. It was way better than playing it on GameCube. You know what I'm saying? And then you had the better, widescreen support and all that stuff. It was just, one of those things that I'll never forget. And I feel like we haven't truly, really gotten there again. Like, yeah, they did their thing with the gamepad, but the gamepad for the most part was just a second screen and a glorified menu at the bottom, something like that. But it was cool to play Call of Duty, Black Ops 2, or Ghost, and be like, yeah, let's play co-op, and you got your own screen. We don't got to do split screen like we do on Xbox, on PlayStation. Like, that was fire. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, they try to do, what was it, smart glass and stuff like that to compete. You see what I'm saying? When you do stuff, you're going to move them. You're going to shake them. And that makes it better for all of us. So even if you are a PlayStation fan, an Xbox guy, listening to me speak on this future for Nintendo, understand that this would affect you too. And it wouldn't be a negative. It'd be a positive, because guess what? The controller you're playing with right now is just a Super Nintendo controller with analog sticks. Now, shout out to Xbox for making an Elite controller. Granted, I've never played a single game with an Elite controller. I don't have an Elite controller. You know what I'm saying? Like, I truly don't, because I was like, I'm going to wait for the 3. And I'm going to get it this gen. They ain't never made a 3. I said, I ain't going to get a controller without a capture button on it, because I know that button in the middle is for changing profiles. So I said, I'm going to wait. I want a Series X controller. And the Elite controller currently right now is an Xbox One controller. And I ain't going back. Period. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I look and I go, if Nintendo pushes win or lose, if they push and innovation wise, gameplay wise, it's something where we like, yeah, nah, that's the way you play an RPG now. This genre, that genre. It don't even got to affect every genre. It just got to affect enough where it's like, oh, now we got to put that on our controller too. So then it's like, oh, here comes the PlayStation 6 Pro, and it has the new DualShock blah 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 that has the blah 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 feature that Nintendo created. And then here comes the brand new Xbox Elite controller. 3. I would love to say 4 by that time, but it'd probably be 3. They taking so damn long. And I want the Elite controller though. That controller looked beautiful. It had the motion controls and everything. But anyway, here they come with their controller and they got the blah blah blah. And now you playing your Halo, your Gears, your whatever the case may be, and that shit playing better now. It feels more like the future. That's a W. That's what you feel like you missing in video games. When I see people talking about, oh yeah, man, is video games not as fun as they used to be? It's nothing new. There's nothing new enticing. You're not being surprised when you see a game like Star Wars Outlaw come out. You feel, yeah, that's gonna be a fun experience. I could play that and I can enjoy that. But I know what I'm getting into. It's gonna be a third person. I'm running around a little vehicle, go from here to that. Yeah, you've done that already in multiple games. And there's not going to be really anything innovative, crazy in that gameplay, more than likely. You know what I'm saying? And that'll be the same thing when you go, oh, the next From Software game is probably just going to be more of that. You know what I mean? Like, it just is. At least with Tears of the Kingdom versus Breath of the Wild, you can say whatever you want about the building aspect, but they're using the motion controls. You pulling things, bringing it for you, spinning things around. And, you know, you got motion controls for your arrows and things like that. Like, so then they still build new ideas within their old gameplay. So you can say, oh, yeah. Like if somebody said, oh, yeah, I like Breath of the Wild, but didn't like Tears of the Kingdom because of, I get it. But that's the kind of stuff where it's like, you got to push. And they push that idea. And you can say, oh, yeah, I ain't like it. Cool. Breath of the Wild sold 30. This one is closer to 40 at this point. But still, Tears of the Kingdom only been out a year and already sold over 20. So people enjoying themselves, people still playing it, people still buying the game. It's one of those evergreen titles for Nintendo. And it was something that maybe didn't float your boat. And I'm like, yo, that's okay. Sometimes things might not be for you, but at the end of the day, it might end up being for you. You know what I'm saying? So they might have a gimmick where you're like, nah, that's not for me. But if you ever play the game right now on PlayStation, and you say, oh, yeah, I like playing with the motion controls. Yeah, be thankful to Nintendo for doing what they did. And then PlayStation talking mad shit and then showing up to E3 and being like, look at the 6-axis. And you a giant enemy crab. And everybody was looking at them like, y'all was just talking mad shit. But I'm like, that's their MO. Talk down their competitor and then copy them. They've been doing that from the beginning. That's literally the strat. But whatever, man. We don't got to get into that. The point is, I do want to see innovation. I am not afraid of innovation. I am not afraid of Nintendo trying new things. Even with them only having now one console to drop. Because I know if anything goes bad, they got enough to drop another one and right the ship. If they got here comes the Switch 2. That was just our little Virtual Boy moment. Like, I don't want it to be that. Don't get it twisted. Oh, my God. That was not good. That in between that Super Nintendo and 64, man, that Virtual Boy... I mean, Mario Tennis was cool, and that lived on forever and ever, you know. But still, yeah, man. Like I know that they'll drop something else, make something cooler, and it'll be awesome, and they'll find their footing again and keep it going because they could easily just be like, all right, here goes new Nintendo Switch 2, da da da. Like, yeah, man. My point is, I'm ready to be amazed, to be wild. I'm ready to be shook in the sense of, ooh, is that gonna work? Or not. Let's see how you gonna market that. What games you got to go with that idea, and then see the games and be like, "Ooh, yeah, that's gonna work. That lineup is fire. That idea is fire. The way it works in the games is great." I'm cool with reliving that Wii remote, like, huh? And then having the picture painted for me in articles, like, yeah, we played this and that and this, and it was like, oh, okay, I'm seeing it, and then seeing it and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that shit gonna work, and it worked, and I knew it would. You know what I'm saying? And I still remember having debates with people like, yo, I'm going to get this. You ain't going to be able to get one of these for a while. Man, you wildin'. That shit going to be selling worse than the GameCube. And then when I was watching them struggle to get one, waiting 6 months later, I'm like, told you. Like, it was a funny time, man. Funny time. But anyway, yeah, Nintendo, innovation, revolutions, That go hand in hand. And I want to be clear. I don't want to act like there's not revolutionary things happening. I think a lot of what Xbox is doing with game distribution and all of that, I say it all the time. That's revolutionary stuff. And people not screaming it from rooftops just because it's Xbox. And had it been anyone else doing what Xbox is doing right now, they'll call them forward thinking, smart. They get into the bag. They got 500 million versus these guys still only worried about consoles. Again, had it been anyone else, they would have been singing a completely different tune. And another thing that has to be mentioned is things like Fortnite and these ongoing games. The fact that Fortnite can just always introduce brand new gameplay elements and change up the entire thing basically around the base game and the battle royale and all of that stuff is wild. Like going on now and having shoulder cannons and jetpacks, and it's completely different gameplay than it was a week ago. You know, like that's what keep those games fresh and people continue to go back. And I get when people who don't play Fortnite or even something like Call of Duty, which right now you got low gravity modes, you had the wrestling mode where you had to basically do wrestling moves in order to actually, get the kill and all that for it to count. Like they got so much going on in these games, and people from the outside looking in just think like, oh, haha, look at Call of Duty's, giant file size. And it's like, yeah, but there's enough content in there to justify it. Unlike other games that be 120 gigs, and it's like pale in comparison. Now, granted, Call of Duty just announced that they're going to be doing updates to drop file sizes and stuff, which is cool. But to act like these games like Fortnite and not understand why it is that people come back, again, there's always going to be people on both sides, but people who playing and the people on the outside like, I don't get it, I'm going to be over here. Well, understand the reason why this is making money hand over fist on this side is because they continue to change the game. It's never the same. If you play Fortnite a year ago and you play it today, you're going to be like, I see it's Fortnite, but damn, this is crazy what you could do here. And you got to wrap your head around it, you know what I'm saying? And that's what makes it fresh. Every other month, you know what I mean? They doing, here's this new thing. And the whole community has to basically wrap their heads around it and how it works, And then certain things stick around. Like, they don't go away. Because there's little things that they added in seasons that just stick around like completely from when they were originally introduced because they just made the gameplay so much better. There was no taking that out. You know what I mean? Like leaping over walls and running around, all the movement that they did. You know what I'm saying? Like they did cool stuff with that. And I can't wait for what Call of Duty is doing. You're going to finally be able to, in the first person shooter, be able to run backwards, left, right, all that omni movement stuff is game changing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I see that. But again, there needs to be something that's more, something that pushes the medium, even deeper than that. But I love the fact that these games exist that can just evolve and they have an audience, always pouring money into it, which allows them to pay their developers and continue to create new, exciting ways to excite us and let us, basically feel good about our purchases. You know what I'm saying? Because we putting all this money into it. So it's not like, oh yeah, the game is still, I put mad money into it and I'm never going back. Nah, they always change it up. So you always want to come back. And I look at that as a huge positive. Like that doesn't go unnoticed by me. Like I really see how, like these ongoing games are heavily the movers and shakers of the industry currently, So yeah, man, when I say I want innovation and creativity and things that are going to, wow some of us, alienate the other who don't understand until they get their hands on it. That's part of this medium. It really, honest to God, is. And it's funny, you look at the industry, right? More people try to give props to VR, which is basically, I mean, you see what it is. And then they try to take away from like Nintendo's crazy ideas and all that. I'm like, Xbox don't got VR. Nintendo, I know you might bring up Labo and all that, they don't got VR. Right? But you know what all the controllers got, including the leaked Xbox controller? Motion controls. And who did that? You see what I'm saying? Like, man, the point is that when they do their innovative stuff, it ends up changing the standard. And it becomes the standard, the new standard. And that's what I'm hoping to see. And I know, it's a big ask and it's something that may not be the popular opinion. But I'm just letting y'all know, this, Nintendo fan, what he wants from the future of Nintendo and the future of this medium, really. I love to see this medium continue to push and evolve and do new things. This is why I love what Xbox does right now, because they're pushing and doing new things. While everybody crying, screaming, oh my God, there's another rumor of a big game coming to a PlayStation. I'm like, okay, so they're doing what they've been doing already for damn near a decade. You want me to be afraid of what? Of what? Like, I don't care. Like, are they doing new stuff and they making games more accessible than ever? Then I'm happy with that. Do they got mad brand new IPs? Then I'm happy with that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and fearmonger or people just be like, yeah, I'm gonna hate them because they're the giants. And then while they over there on the other side with a goddamn Nintendo and a system that, I mean, it's there, you know, and then talking about like, yeah, this is the better combo. I don't know about that, bro. It's a reason why we've had scenes like We 60. You know what I'm saying? And this goes back over a decade. Damn near over 20 years, right? Yeah, almost. We almost there. You know what I'm saying? Like almost. We almost had 20 years with that already. Like, and yeah, it's been the best combination, and it'll continue to be the best combination. And I just want that, you know, feeling from both. I love the crazy wild side of Nintendo, and I love right now Microsoft crazy wild side, them being, you know, in their own little world. Like, yeah, we gonna push limits of every little thing. Everything that y'all consider to be normal, we gonna flip that on his head and just watch and see how y'all react while the numbers continue to go up. You know, so it's like, yeah, I love seeing that. It's the same thing that Nintendo's done with it, but they doing it in their own way. You know, I love seeing companies who are innovating and trying new things and laying new tracks in front of them, not actually trying to follow trends and things like that. And I feel like Nintendo and Xbox do that super great. And while the Switch was, you know, something innovative, a hybrid, you know, you one and done. You don't got to go get a Game Boy Advance, a DS, a XL, 3DS, nothing. You could just get this one thing and you got the home console, you got your GameCube, you got your Game Boy Advance, you got your DS, you got your Wii, you got your 3DS, you got your Wii U. It's all in one. You know, so that was amazing. And yeah, while I say I want them to build on that because it was great, yeah, I want them to build on that, expand on that, flip it on his head, and then deliver that. You know what I'm saying? And be like, I see the switch in it. But that's a whole lot of new stuff there too. Like, and then us, you know, going ooh and ah, like that's what's gonna shake us right now if they drop. Oh yeah, look, we got a brand new Switch. It's a better screen, updated Joy Cons. It plays. Here's a re-release of Tears of the Kingdom. Let's be nice. A double pack, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. You know, hell, let's be even nicer. A triple pack, Breath of the Wild, Age of Calamity, Tears of the Kingdom. You get the whole story, bam, in a collection, pretty 4K on this new thing, alongside of Mario, alongside of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. And it's like, yeah, we're all gonna. Who's not gonna be excited about that? Absolutely. But if it just looks like, oh, it's just stronger version of what I already had, is like that doesn't really feel Nintendo. That feels more honestly Xbox. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like you went from a 1X to a Series X and you was right at home. Like, oh yeah, use your phone to connect. It's all right, yeah, oh your account got you. You want to keep your settings from Series X? I mean from 1X on your Series X? I'm like, yeah. Blah, everything popped up. Every little widget, every little pin, every little thing I had was there. I'm like, do you want us to download the games you've been currently playing? Sure. Blah, blah. There you go. Everything downloaded. That was awesome. It was seamless and I loved it. And I love that from Xbox. And it's like, oh, so why are you changing the standard for Nintendo? I'm not. I'm just keeping Nintendo to their own standards. These are the guys who don't do sequels because we don't got no new idea. Why would we just make an F-Zero GX again? It's like, because that shit is incredible and we want one. And now you can add online and that'd be good enough for us. And they're like, nah, we got to do something different. I'm like, all right. And then we waiting forever. You know, but that's Nintendo. It's like they always want to add something there. It's like, oh yeah, this sequel, it just can't be Breath of the Wild again. So we're going to take 7 years in order to create all this, you know, all these new ways to control and manipulate the world and da-da-da. You know, even your champion abilities are different from the one in Breath of the Wild. And I may like those so far, you know, better than the ones in Tears of the Kingdom, but I don't knock them for making it different because it's not just Breath of the Wild again. While the world is, the experience is a lot deeper, a lot more depth, literally, you know. It's what they do. So it's what I come to expect. I don't rate these two companies in the same way. I always expect Nintendo to, when it comes to software, to be a mover and shaker like no other. And then when it comes to services and game preservation and just, you know, being innovative in the distribution of video games, I expect Xbox to always be the wildest. You know what I'm saying? And these two things complement my gaming taste perfectly. And that's why it's like I want Nintendo to still do its thing. Don't get it twisted. While I know the safe route seems safer, I don't know if that'll be safer when you got competitors. You need something to stand out from them. So when Xbox is like, hey, look, we got this great handheld. I'm like, cool, let me take my Series S fling that out the window. Now, like get rid of that satellite, get that handheld, still dock it, and enjoy that experience. I probably would do something like that. Like, why keep the Series S and the Series X? I got, one of each. Might as well get rid of one to get the new thing, So that'll be awesome and everything, But I'm expecting, like, I got a handheld hybrid console from Xbox in the crib. That's cool. It's basically what the Switch is. So then when the Switch comes out, it's like, yeah, of course I'm still get a Switch because all my IPs that I got to get right there are going to be only there. But then it should stand out from this thing, especially if you're going to be underpowered to it. That's the thing that always made Nintendo special. It's like, yeah, we might have an underpowered thing, but you ain't having experience like you can have on this thing anywhere else. And I love that. That's the thing. I love that. I'm truly a fan of Nintendo's Nintendo-ness. And I never want to see that go away. So I know many would probably disagree with a lot of what I said in this video. That's cool, because I know deep down Nintendo will probably be the ones agreeing with what I'm saying in this video and probably have already achieved the thing that I'm talking about in this video, and that is going to come, and it's probably going to rub you the wrong way, while me, I'm going to be sitting there rejoicing. They're going to be like, damn, yo, well, Red ain't going crazy. Why he ain't upset? And it's like, oh, you must have not seen his video from back in August 2024 when he was saying this is what he basically wanted. Some crazy shit like that. And it's like, hell yeah. Hell yeah, supplement my gaming. You know what I'm saying? I don't need my Xbox to be a weaker PC and then my Switch to be a weaker Xbox. Like, I mean, they all serve different purposes still because of the library, the body of work. But I like the difference when I pick up a game and say, okay, I know in this game, I'm going to be using motion controls. I'm going to be doing this, that way. If I'm going from Tears of the Kingdom to, Forza Horizon, or even going from Mario Kart 8 to Forza Horizon, it's like, I know I'm going to be, waggling and all that, the control in order to do tricks when I jump off of shit. Like, weird shit like that. It's just things you're going to do. In Zelda, I know I'm going to aim with motion controls, my bow and arrow, while on Xbox, if I'm shooting a bow and arrow and something like, I don't know, Kenna, which just came out, like, oh yeah, that uses an analog stick. You know what I'm saying? It's just a different thing. And I like that. I like having my two consoles complement each other and not be the exact same thing. Like, I still remember playing Doom 2016 on Xbox and be like, awesome. Got it on Switch and played it with motion controls and was like, that was mad fun. Damn, Xbox, I wish I had the motion control so I could have the best of both worlds. People on PlayStation say, yo, we got that over here. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But you know what you don't got? All the other stuff that keeps me on this side. But anyway, yeah, man. That's just my genuine thoughts when it comes to the future of Nintendo, That's just being 100% honest and not trying to follow all the other folks, and all the other narratives. I don't care about that. I'm just telling y'all my truth. So I hope y'all enjoy that. And yeah, I'm sure I'll talk about, the future Nintendo console a lot more, obviously, as we get closer to its inevitable reveal, within the next less than a year time frame that we were given. Like, it's no point to be freaking out about, oh my God, delays. Like, dude, we know we're going to see it soon. That's exciting enough. It might be something where it's like, we watch the Xbox, developer direct next year that includes Doom and Avowed and Fable and all these other games they got coming out next year, like State of Decay. And then right after that, it'll be Nintendo. Bam, right there, new console. See the games and everything in the summer, and a big Nintendo Direct. And then the thing launches in the fall. That's a perfectly fine rollout for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, and yeah, it gives them time again to get all their ducks in a row. But yeah, that's going to do it. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. Until the next one, peace.